Working on the docking ports here. Already did some pre-assembly. So there are 4 sections that go around this disc. So I've glued those on both of these. And everything has been cleaned. It's ready for primer. And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of easily setting these on here and leaving a gap so I can spray it with primer and also spray it with the base color, and I'll get full coverage on the edges and some down here in the little lip here, so when I do push them all together there won't be any gaps. And then there's some pieces on here and these 2 sprues and then the little side pieces. So like I said, they're ready for primer, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to prime them and then I'm going to put the base color on and I'll be back. Everything's primed and I got the base coat on. I also sprayed the sprues with some of the little tiny pieces. Some of them I got right here. One of them broke. I also decided to include the radar dish in this video. So I've got that primed and the base coat on and put together. They do have decals, both the docking ports and then the radar dish. So I'm going to finish putting on pieces that I can, and then I'll come back and I'll put on the decals. There's a gray decal that goes right here. I already have it soaked and everything, so what I'm going to do is take my brush, get some water on here. And I'm going to take the pre-soaked decal, slide it on, and take my tweezers here and match it up to the panel lines. Try to. Doesn't seem to quite match up with the panel lines perfectly. This is the first one that I've had that didn't match up like it's supposed to. Alright, now take my Q-tip, roll it to not only flatten it out but to absorb the excess water. And once I've got it on there like that, then I'll take some Walther Solvaset. I like this stuff better than the microsol or anything. It just works a whole lot better. It's a little more expensive. It's like $15 a bottle, but I've had this bottle, it's a little less than half, and I've had this bottle for about 3 years now. Plus it already comes with a brush, which makes it a lot easier to apply. You don't have to worry about messing up one of your good brushes. Alright, let's put a coat of Walthers on there. Now I'll let that dry and it'll slowly sink into the paint on the part. So I'm going to put the rest of these decals on and then I'll come back and show you that. I got all the larger gray decals on. There's still a couple of spots where I need to put another coat of Walthers on there to get it to settle down in there real tight. But for the most part they all went on fairly easily. But now comes the hard part, which is all the tiny ones, little markings and warnings, and there's some red ones that go on these hatches, and I'm going to have to get up real close on it, so I'm going to do that off camera. So I'll get all those on and then I'll come back and show you what they look like with all the decals on. All the decals are on. I did lose one. It's a little yellow arrow, I think, that goes in here somewhere, but I lost it, so it's missing that one. But all the rest of the decals are on, and The way I do my decals is I just put them straight on the paint, and then once they're dry, I go over them with this Vallejo gloss varnish. And then once that's dry, I go over the whole thing with this Krylon matte finish. And now that that's dry, it looks like paint. It looks like it was painted on. So now all these pieces are ready for the weathering stage when I get to that stage. So that's going to do it for part 5. I want to thank you guys for watching, and thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you guys for part 6.